Happy Tuesday and welcome into the Tuesday Titans Tossup here on the AOZ Sports Podcast Network. I'm your host, Luke Worsham. What do we do on the Tuesday Titans Tossup? I'll let you know. Every Tuesday during the Titans offseason, we come together, we put our heads together, and in less than 10 minutes, we will toss up a topic related to the Titans, and I'll give you everything you need to know about that topic. This week is sort of like an episode of Mythbusters, if you've ever seen that show. Because what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be dispelling a myth. The myth being that Ryan Tannehill missing the start of the Titans offseason program means anything. Because it doesn't. And we're going to be talking about that today, and I'm going to explain to you why it is pure nonsense to think that Ryan Tannehill missing the start of the Titans offseason program will have any bearing on the outcome of any aspect of the Tennessee Titans in 2022. We're going to get into all that. I hope you're ready to go. I know that most of you are probably with me here. Most of you are probably saying, preach. I'm preaching to the choir. There may be some of you listening who are like, okay, I need convincing on that. And I look forward to doing that. But first, I'm going to remind you that the Tuesday Titans Tossup, the TTT, as always, is presented by Hecklin, Braden, and Smiley Family and Cosmetic Dentistry here in Nashville, Tennessee. There's a lot of great things that I always love to tell you guys about Hecklin, Braden, and Smiley. They're friendly, number one. They put a big emphasis on family at their business. They treat their patients like family, and it comes across when you go to see them, and they know that for a family, it can be difficult to decide where to not only send yourselves to go to the dentist, right, but to send your children as well. Another great part about Hecklin, Braden, and Smiley is that unlike a lot of dentistries in town, they're open 5 days a week, meaning it's a lot easier and a lot more convenient for you to be able to visit them whenever you need your dental work done. They're also conveniently located in town near the West End area, so wherever you are in Nashville, really, it's pretty easy to get to those guys. But something that we don't always emphasize when we talk about Hecklin, Braden, and Smiley here on the TTT is that they're not just like a family dentistry. They're not just the folks that you go to every 6 months for your checkup. They do that, and they're really good at that. My last checkup came courtesy of them. But they're more than that. They're also a cosmetic dentistry, right? Hecklin, Braden, and Smiley Family and cosmetic dentistry. And so if you're looking for cosmetic work to be done, like whitening or something like that, these are the folks you need to get in touch with as well. In fact, if you're looking to get core whitening done, you can get a discount on that right now. Just tell them that A to Z Sports or the TTT sent you, and they'll hook you up. So whatever kind of dental work you're looking to get done, whatever you need, give them a shout. Head to drhecklin.com to make your appointment. Don't forget to tell them that A to Z Sports sent you. Why Ryan Tannehill missing the start of the offseason program is meaningless. Let's start with a bit of background. How do we know this? Well, so we get to press conferences on Monday because the Titans offseason program opened on Monday, and the team made a handful of players available to the media. And when we were given the list of the players that were going to be available, the most notable omission from that list was Ryan Tannehill. And we all, members of the media, were kind of talking, and we're like, well, this has to mean he's not here, right? Because if he was here, they would, in all likelihood, let him talk to the media. And then Austin Hooper, new Titans tight end, gets up and he's talking to the media. And he says something to the effect of, I look forward to getting to work with Ryan Tannehill when he gets here. Right now, he's enjoying time with his family. And when he said that confirmed what we all thought. Ryan Tannehill not at the Titans facility currently. And once that news was out there, once we figured that out, once we could come to that conclusion, a lot of ridiculousness began to take place. People started talking about how that was bad leadership, about how Ryan Tannehill was going to be missing valuable reps at this point in the offseason, that guys wouldn't be able to work on the field with Ryan Tannehill. And I want to talk over the remainder of our time together here about why that's just nonsense. Usually we do stop the nonsense on the No Nonsense podcast, but we're going to do it here today, all right? So first of all, let's dispel this rumor about Tannehill not being able to get the reps with guys. Because I've got some news for you about this point in the offseason. There are no reps. There's not even a football involved at this point in the offseason. All that the Titans players who are at the facility right now are doing in terms of physical performance is they're running, they're lifting. That's about it. There are no reps at this point in the offseason. No one's throwing to anybody. No one's covering anybody. There are no reps. So we can just very quickly and immediately get rid of the idea that Tannehill is missing valuable reps with people because there are no reps. It's not happening. He's not missing out on anything on that front. So we can get rid of that. But there have been other arguments too, other ideas presented as to why Tannehill still is hurting the team by not being at OTA. Excuse me, it's not even OTAs. OTAs aren't for a couple more months. This is just the start of the offseason program. And one thing that I've seen is that this is bad leadership by Tannehill. Now, I will say this. From a PR standpoint, from an optics standpoint, it would have been better for Tannehill to show up because then this stuff wouldn't have any life. But again, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the reaction from fans. We're talking about the reaction from the team. And there's virtually no shot that anyone on the Titans team sees Tannehill's absence from this unmandatory, completely voluntary program as a deficiency in leadership. Because he's not the only one who's not there. We know A.J. Brown's not there, presumably, tied to his contract situation, trying to, quote-unquote, hold out for an extension. I don't think Derrick Henry's there. We haven't gotten confirmation of that, but there's no indication that he's there. And what I do know is that several notable veterans are not at this thing. This is all speculation, but my guess is you probably don't have Derrick Henry. You probably don't have Taylor Lewan. I'm trying to think of some other notable veterans that probably are not there. I don't know about Jeffrey Simmons, whether he's there or not. And again, this is just me throwing out names. But the reality is that the only 5 players we know for a fact are there are those who spoke to the media on Monday, and that was Kevin Byard, Austin Hooper, Ben Jones, Elijah Molden, and I knew I would forget one as I was naming them. Ben Jones, Elijah Molden, Austin Hooper, David Long. That's the one I was forgetting. Those are the 5 we know that are there for sure. And we also know that there are other veterans in addition to Tannehill who are not there. So all this to say, Tannehill's not the only one who's missing. There are others. And let's say we did know for a fact that Derrick Henry's not there, because I think we're pretty sure about that. We just don't have it confirmed. Would we be saying, oh, Derrick Henry's ruining them? He's a team captain and he needs to be a better leader? No. The only reason people are mad that Tannehill's not there is because he threw 3 interceptions in the Titans' playoff loss. And look, I've grilled Tannehill for that. I think Tannehill's highly problematic in the postseason. But the idea that he is a deficient leader because he didn't show up to this event is ridiculous. And he's not missing reps, and there's also not a whole heck of a lot of new people for him to introduce himself to. Was he going to shake Austin Hooper and Jamarco Jones' hand? Like, everything's going to be okay. He's not missing out on anything, on any relationship development that he hadn't already done. All is well with Ryan Tannehill. He's allowed to spend time with his family. It is a voluntary process, after all. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the TTT. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to come back next week, draft week, TTT next week. We'll see what we have in store for then, and we'll do it all again next week.